Good morning, my name is Jet Appling and I'm here at Studiomix where I teach TRX, cross mix, cycling, and also a class I created called Tabata Cross. Today we're going to talk about the GHD raises and what they can do to develop your hamstrings and your glutes. And this is especially for my runners out there to help with the kick on a sprint or on the long haul. So here, the first thing I want to do is when I set this up, I want to make sure that the distance of the foot plate is going to be appropriate for my height, because ideally I want my knees to be landing about right here on the cushion so that they have enough support so that I don't feel as if I'm going to slip and fall through here. I can just make the adjustments down here and make sure, I definitely want to make sure that it's nice and tight so that there's no wobble, so that I'm secure once I get in. And ideally I'm looking for a 90-degree bend here, and remember what I said about making sure that I have support. It doesn't feel like my knees are going to slip through. Now from here, as I move through the motion, I want to make sure that my hips are forward. I want to make sure that I am not leaning into it, that this is all about my hamstrings and my glutes getting me back into this position once I start to descend. So from here, what I like to remind beginners to do is to just sort of hold on back here so that their shoulders are back and that they're sort of correcting their own form, keeping their hips forward. And then you can descend forward and flex to come back. Now, the amount of, the range of motion is going to really determine how difficult this exercise is. So if I go way down here, it gets a lot more difficult to come back. And sometimes my back really wants to go here, but I really want to keep the core engaged to keep my hips forward so that I'm not doing this. So I'm going to make sure that my Achilles rests on this pad so that I'm not fighting with the foot plate to flex my calves to keep me up. I want to just really trust these pads here. If you feel like you want to go farther, but you already feel like your hamstrings and your glutes are a little bit burned, then what I've done in the past is I will let myself go farther, and then right here I'll just sort of give myself a little assistance to come back and right back, okay? So this is the partner option if you don't have access to a GHD machine. So what Johnny's doing is he is applying pressure to my Achilles, and what's really important is that he's keeping his shoulders over his wrists so that his arms are perpendicular to the ground. So when I start to lean forward, he's going to lean forward with me. So keep an eye on that, and also, like I mentioned before, keep an eye on my hips. I'm making sure that my hips stay forward, my core is engaged. And from here, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my hands out for protection so I don't end up face planting. And I'm going to add a plyometric push-up. I'm going to push really with a lot of force and really sort of get myself on the way. And from there, I'll flex hams and glutes to finish. You decide the difficulty level based on how much you push with your arms. If you push a lot, then it's not quite as challenging for the hams and glutes. You push a little, and again, it gets more challenging, but again, you saw I started to cheat a little bit where my hips started to go out behind me. So if you find yourself cheating like that, then you know that you need to scale it down a little bit, maybe push some more with your arms, and that can be your litmus test to determine how strong you are. This lets you know that you still need to develop some more. You're able to keep those hips forward, then you're keeping all the focus on your hams and your glutes, which is where you really want it. So once again, my name is Jet Appling, and we are here at Studiomix in San Francisco. When I am on a short run, being 4 miles or less, then I feel like once I get past that hump, and everyone has their own personal hump when you get into that runner's high, I feel like I'm able to go at a stronger pace for a longer period of time. And all of that kick is really coming from the hams and the glutes. So if you're training for a race that is 10K or less, then I strongly recommend these exercises. Keep that in mind, no matter what kind of runner you are, focusing on your hams and your glutes specifically is really going to help. So check out the link below for my website, and check out studiomix.com for the class schedule if you want to come and join me here in San Francisco. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon.